Okay, so here we go. We're going to dissect the cow eye. So there's nice illustrations in your lab manual, and there's directions online. We're going to go right into it. So let me kind of turn that down there so we can get it the way we want it. Okay, so there is the eye. You can see it there. It's looking right at you. Okay, what you see is the cornea. There's the sclera with a bit of conjunctiva on top. Here there's a lot of fat, and you can see these stubs of muscles. Okay, these kind of red stubs here, those are the extrinsic eye muscles that move the eye, and there's 6 pair of them. We're going to remove as much of this fat as we can before we cut the eye. And so there's big chunks, and I'll make a little pile of it. And at the same time, I'm going to remove most of these muscles. So I'll just cut them right off. The eye itself is pretty tough. It has a tough outer coating, the sclera. This is not the best of the scissors. Let me try the other one. Okay. I gotta go like that. Okay. Yeah, that's much better. So I'm just cutting away fat, conjunctiva stuff, some of the connective tissue. The eye is delicate, so there's lots of fat to protect it. And so when you get hit in the eye, the whole eyeball can move backwards to kind of protect it. And so here, there's lots of muscle kind of embedded in the fat. You see there's more of those muscles there. We're going to find the optic nerve, which I think should be on this, kind of in this area here. That might be the optic nerve right there. So let's see if we can do that. Yeah, that's probably it. Okay. So again, this is in a preservative, so what you smell is most of the preservative. It's not decay at this point. And after you dissect it, if you want to keep it, you can just keep it in your plastic bag for a while. It doesn't need to be refrigerated, although maybe you want to stick it somewhere away from food and things like that. So like, see, that's just big chunks of fat and some muscle that's involved in moving the muscles involved in moving the eye. So I'm pretty sure that that's the optic nerve right there. And then let's get some more of this off of here. We should get the eye into it before we dissect it, maybe just a nice round ball. Kind of, and you can see how much stuff I'm cutting away here. So that's muscle, fat, connective tissue. All that's going to come away. The conjunctiva is like a mucous membrane that covers the inside of the eyelid and then connects to the eyeball itself. Like, look at that. That's all coming away. That's all just junk. I'm cutting away muscle too. See, there's still some muscle attached to that, even though there were pieces in that fat. So now it looks more like what you might see in your textbook. That's clearly the optic nerve. There's still some muscles attached there. And there's a little bit of the conjunctiva. I can tear that chunk away. And it's a mucous membrane that goes to the inside of the eyelid. There, optic nerve, a ring of muscles around the back of the eye still. This is sclera. This is cornea. It bulges out. That's where the light's coming through. There'll be aqueous humor, fluid-filled space in there. Then the iris, and then the lens. And then from the lens, then we go into the posterior chamber, which has the vitreous humor. And the back of that contains the retina, the light detecting cells. So let's see what I can do here. I have a sharp knife. I want to cut this into an anterior and posterior part. I don't want to press too hard because it's filled with fluid and it could come squirting out. So let's just see if I can do that. If this isn't sharp enough, I'm going to have to kind of go with the scissors. Okay, enough with that. Let's try this. That's not that sharp. I'm almost through. Oh, little squirt there. Okay. So I'm through. I don't know if you saw this squirt. Luckily, I had it pointed away from me. So I should be able to get the tip of my scissors through. Not making a great show of it, but get it into the anterior and posterior half. There you can kind of see. Okay, that's the vitreous humor there. You can see there's a reflective band in there. That's the tapetum. It's part of the choroid that's reflective. And then there's this really thin, kind of looks like a wet tissue paper. That's the retina. So this is the posterior part of the eye. And you can see the retina, when I move it, it's connected. And right there is the optic disc. That's where the optic nerve comes in. That's the blind spot. So you can see that there. Then here I can kind of spill out this vitreous humor here, hopefully. Or I maybe need to do a little more cutting. But there you can see the tapetum really nicely. Okay, so there's my optic nerve. That's the optic disc where the optic nerve comes in. Then here, that's the vitreous humor, and there's the lens just popped out. That's the elastic, clear elastic ball. It's not clear now because of the preservative. And then kind of underneath that, you can kind of see that there's this black stuff. That's the the iris and the ciliary body. Okay, and so you can kind of see that in there. Right there is where it comes through. Maybe you can get a little light through there. Let's complete this separation here. And there you can kind of see that they've poured much of the vitreous humor out. You can see that there's a light spot in there. That's where the light is coming through. Okay, so you're going to identify your parts of the eye, take your picture. I think you want the lens, some of this vitreous humor, this little goop here. You need the ciliary body, and I think the optic disc. Okay, so you can save that, at least for a while, in your plastic bag. Make sure you take your photos, study that, compare that with the illustrations in chapter 23, exercise 23. Okay, very good. We're going to stop.